welcome my friend, your friend, our friend, Michael Vassiliadis. Michael.
Good morning, sisters and brothers. Allow me to start by thanking you warmly for the invitation and to attend your convention by extending the best wishes of my organization, the IGBCE from Germany. In my capacity as President of Industrial European Trade Union, I would also like to pass the best regards of this pan-European federation. Our 7.1 million members send best wishes to the Steelworkers conventions. We had good contacts with the steelworkers under Leo's stewardship for many years, and our cooperation has made good headway. In times of increasing globalization, we have to intensify our cooperation. Going forward, we will have to coordinate contents better, and last but not least, we'll have to increase our willingness to learn from each other. Dear colleagues, I have been asked to explain to you our position and views on a few topics. I will speak about three issues today. First, the so-called TTIP, the currently much discussed US-European trade agreement. Second, the question of social responsibility of German and European multinational corporations. And third and finally, the role of the European Work Council. On the TTIP, like the US, my country and also many other European countries, we are highly waged countries that manufacture and export high-tech products. The US is our most important trading partner. We all, the US, Germany and Europe, we are highly dependent on trade with the rest of the world to safeguard our jobs and prosperity. Thus, fair trade is not only in companies' interest, but also in trade union interest. Fair trade, from a trade union perspective, means no wage or social dumping. Benchmark for that all have to be the best standards and not the worst standards, dear colleagues. The ongoing negotiation of the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, TTIP, between the US and the EU should therefore be a good opportunity for workers to our countries. The ambition to set a positive example for world trade as a whole is remarkable. Therefore, we would need the willingness to change the behavior of ignoring working rights and good standards. Nevertheless, it is difficult to forecast what the outcome is, but our worries and critics are overweighting possible positive aspects. The negotiation partners have not understood that such an important agreement cannot negotiate in camera. Concerns and questions have been ignored for so long and for too long, resulting in a growing mood of rejection by the public opinion, in particular in Germany, France, and the UK, and of course, within the progressive partners and the unions within the US. A major point of criticism, which we unions share, is the Investors' Protection Agreement. People do not understand why multinational corporations should be allowed to challenge decisions taken by democratic elected governments by means of a non-transparent arbitration procedure. Neither trade unions nor any other social group have comparable rights. The US and every single EU member state have the fully fledged legal system rendering such arbitration procedures superfluous. It is also unacceptable that companies should, in the future, decide on matters of labor safety, health protection, or environmental protection. It is a matter of course that it is the governments in our parliaments that have to make the decisions. These are indispensable components of our democratic systems, and they must remain so. Your umbrella organization, the LCIO, have developed a joint position with the European Trade Union Confederation on this issue. That is the base where we have to jointly exert influence on the negotiation in order to ensure results that are favorable for workers. We will use our democratic rights and our power to ensure that companies will not set the rules of the future. Dear sisters and brothers, we fought so long and hard in our history, and we will do in the future to prevent union rights and good standards in health, safety, and environmental matters. We'll not stop opposing this right-wing politics also in the future. Let me come to the second point, European multinational corporations and CSR. Many multinational industry groups adopt codes for socially and otherwise responsible behavior, join the Global Compact or sign global frameworks agreements, for example, with the Industrial All-Global Union. But that is worthless if their everyday business is not based on these principles. However, this does not automatically end all conflicts in the US or in other countries. This is why we need to use our international structures to oppose trends such as the violation of principles like human rights or freedom to establish trade unions or standards of health and safety at work. In this context, that international solidarity proves its worth if everybody contributes whatever they can do in their situation. We, in Europe, have been doing this in the past and will continue to do this in the future. However, this cannot possibly replace existing relation between the social partners or the legal rules regulating industrial relation between employers and worker representatives. For example, European trade unions find it easier to nail down companies for their CSR commitments in South America than in Asia or in the US. One reason for this is the lack of legal stipulations in these countries, which are the only basis allowing us to make claims against employers. It shows us that those commitments are not falling from the sky. We have to fight for it. I do not wish to deny that some German and other European companies behave like a bull in the china shop. We must stop this, even if this often requires endurance. The Huhtamäki example shows this only too clearly. In such cases, we have to work as one to end such behaviors, taking the conditions to the various countries into consideration. I am convinced that we will have to continue to work in two directions. On the one hand, we'll have to face companies of their obligation again and again. And on the other hand, we must never stop demanding the ratification of the ILO core labor standards, in particular here in the US and by the US government. The struggle for more binding international standards must continue. The UN Guiding Principle on Business and Human Rights, adopted in 2011, point in the right direction. CSR and sustainable development for us is not a marketing gag. We have to be, and we will fight for, a serious part in the future. Responsibility is not a one-way road. Coming to my third point, European Work Council. One thing should be clear also in Europe. We are in the middle of a crisis, and our Works Council and their unions fight for influences. And that, unfortunately, needs time. In the US, there had been this discussion on establishment for European workers' representations since 1975. It was not until 1994 that a directive on the European Work Council was adopted. Trade unions in Europe had to struggle for many years before cross-border representation of workers' interests became reality. 20 years on, experience shows that it was a good thing to bring together the often quite different models of industrial relations and trade unions in Europe. It has been and it will be a long way to go to bring Europe from a business Europe to a real social Europe. An entirely new understanding of European cooperation has emerged, and the various representatives of the 1,000-odd European Work Council established by now have learned to appreciate and leverage the strengths of other models. That is, of course, remarkable, but to be frank, the economic development is oftentimes much faster. In our view, there's room for improvement, in particular in the area of rights of information and consultation for the European Work Council. Nevertheless, we managed to achieve a situation where sites in Europe are no longer played off against each other and where investment decisions are no longer made according to national but rather European considerations. What we still lack are concrete rights of binding co-determination to European work councils. Sisters and brothers, our way is right, but Leo already said we have to work hard and we have to fight to achieve real co-determination rights in European Work Council and other countries of the world. Dear colleagues, I wish you an ongoing successful convention. I would like to thank you for your attention. Thank you for having me here.